What is your biggest battle right now? I basically come out of a 3-year relationship where I lived for 2 years with my partner and she literally did everything. But the problem is now we've split up and I've moved out, I'm back in a house share. And it's just so different to having your own flat with somebody where you can do whatever you want. I was very lucky in my relationship. I had such a loving partner. I'm just basically looking after myself and the health. Yeah, trying to just do things for myself again, which after 2 years is I know it sounds a little bit pathetic, but yeah, I'm sorry, but it's just been difficult.
Mama, talk to her, please. Take me back, please.
Gary, what do you want me to say to her?
Mama, please tell her to come back with me. She was happy with me. She loved me. She's back with her ex and with no problem in it.
I understand, Derek, but she said you cheated first, so she cheated.
Oh my God!
I tried to leave my marriage in April of this year, and my husband begged me to stay. I feel like it's not gonna work. Today is my birthday. I didn't get anything. I didn't even get anything free.
Hello fam, how are you all doing? Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. In this video, we will explore the harmful dynamics of control and selfishness in relationships, particularly focusing on how some men operate with a sense of entitlement, while neglecting their partners and expecting women to fulfill roles of caretakers, emotional providers, without giving same in return. Through various video clips, we will see how men often believe they are in charge, whether it's in the form of emotional neglect, manipulation, or demanding care and attention without reciprocation. Let's have a look at this video.
There's one thing the guy in this next clip says that is heartbreaking.
What is your biggest battle right now? I basically come out of a 3-year relationship where I lived for 2 years with my partner and she literally did everything. But the problem is now we've split up and I've moved out, I'm back in a house share. And it's just so different to having your own flat with somebody where you can do whatever you want. I was very lucky in my relationship. I had such a loving partner. I'm just basically looking after myself and the health. Yeah, trying to just do things for myself again, which after 2 years is I know it sounds a little bit pathetic, but yeah, I'm sorry, but it's just been difficult.
Did you hear it?
And she literally did everything.
Not just that part.
I'm very lucky in my relationship. I had such a loving partner.
This is only a small clip of a larger interview. But if he was in a relationship with somebody who took such good care of him for 2 years that he could hardly take care of himself anymore as a single man, and he knows now he was lucky enough to have someone who loved him, who was loving by doing these things. She was showing her love for 2 years without those acts of love being reciprocated. Not only just not reciprocated, he wasn't even taking care of himself. That's depletion. It's incredibly sad that so many people walk through life being the recipient of care without even realizing it, or realizing it far too late.
I'm sorry, but it's just been difficult. It's been 6 weeks.
Cooking, cleaning, planning, running a household, those are all acts of love and they should be reciprocated. Don't wait till it's too late.
That sounds like a really tough situation, especially the sense of losing a supportive, loving partner and adjusting to a totally different living situation. The part where he says, "I know it sounds a little bit pathetic," really highlights how vulnerable he feels. It's heartbreaking because it's clear he's struggling with the shift and feeling a bit lost after having relied on someone for so long. It's like he got too comfortable and expected his partner to take on everything, which left him helpless when things changed. He relied so much on her that now he's struggling to take care of himself. Men like this don't realize how much they depend on women until they have to face the reality of handling things alone. It's a hard lesson and obviously a wake-up call for men to start taking responsibility if they really care and if they really want to do that. This video highlights the importance of balance in relationships and how vital it is for both partners to contribute and also maintain their independence. We know this is what is common out there. We often have women shouldering everything, carrying all the load in the relationship, while men just sit down, take from women and relax. Unhealthy dynamic of one partner doing everything in a relationship often leads to dependency and lack of self-sufficiency. It shows that this take collecting from women mentality of men doesn't work in the long run and can often leave both partners, especially men, unprepared for life, when things change. So it's very important for both partners to nurture their own growth so they don't lose themselves in the process of the relationship.
Cameras, I was talking to her, please. Take me back, please.
Derek, what do you want me to say to her?
Mama, please come back with me. She was happy with me. She loved me. She's back with her ex and with no problem in it.
I understand, Derek, but she said you cheated first, so she cheated.
Oh my God!
Derek, stop doing it. Get so backing off. Silly.
Stop! Please take me back. You I'ma slap you too. This your daddy.
Get the
Ellen, you must be on my side.
I am on your.
The whole situation is really messed up. Especially the way he tried justifying his action by saying he used condom, as if that somehow makes cheating okay. It's really telling about how he lacks accountability and he's just looking for a way out by using his mom as a shield. The mom's response though is what stands out to me. She basically threw his own actions back at him. Her response was a mix of reality check and tough love, which I like. It was clear she wasn't buying into his victim act and wasn't ready to enable it. She called out the situation for what it is. Let's talk about the condom excuse again. He said he used condom. Let's talk about it. Such statement is a big red flag. So in his head, using condom cancels out the betrayer. That is very ridiculous. Cheating isn't just about physical protection. It's about trust, respect, and commitment. The idea that some men think using condom makes it less of betrayal shows how deeply flawed their understanding of relationships can be. He's not the only one that thinks that way. A good number of men out there reason the way he does. It's like they also think as long as they didn't get the girl pregnant or bring back STD, they are in the clear. But that's not the case at all. It's still emotional betrayal. It's still disrespectful and it still breaks the bond. So many men feel entitled to justify their cheating actions because of some cultures or even personal experiences normalize it. Because in our society, when men cheat, people don't really lash out on them that way. You often hear people say, oh, men are polygamous in nature, oh, you did well. Their fellow men will be patting them at the back. So to some men, that's what they're supposed to do. And when they use condom in the process, they feel like they are doing the person they are cheating on a favor. There is a warped idea that men are allowed a certain level of freedom when it comes to relationships, whether it's because of their ego or belief that their partner would forgive them. Why wouldn't they think that way when the society tells them it's their right to have multiple women, it's their right to go out there and cheat? It's in a woman's position to always forgive a cheating partner. So I don't blame them if they think that way. Him coming back and asking her to take him back after all that's honestly the most nerve-wracking part. He felt so entitled to her forgiveness and he was assuming that because he claimed to love her, that should buy him forgiveness and erase everything he did. He was expecting her to overlook his actions and take her back. I'm totally against what she did. She cheating back. I've said this before. I'm not for that. You have to respect yourself as a human being, as a woman. Cheating and sleeping around with so many men is not for your own good. It devalues you as a woman. I keep saying that all the time. I know the other time I said it, I saw people leaving some certain comments, but I will keep saying it. It devalues you as a woman. You should respect yourself and have self-worth.
I tried to leave my marriage in April of this year and my husband begged me to stay. I feel like it's not gonna work. Today is my birthday. I didn't get anything. I didn't even get anything free. I got a happy birthday. I said, could you go on a walk with me? He said no. I said, well, I want Chipotle for dinner. He said, ugh, I don't really want Chipotle, but I'll eat it. And then I said, could we just watch cleaning videos on YouTube? And he was like, no. Let's watch Landman. So that's what I watched. I watched 2 episodes of that. I mean, it's fine, but that wasn't what I wanted to do.
His actions are telling. She obviously feels neglected, especially on her birthday, which is supposed to be a time for celebration. The fact that he didn't make an effort to do something small, like go on a walk with her, shows how disconnected he is from her needs. It's not just about a missed opportunity on her birthday. It's more about a deeper lack of consideration and emotional support in the marriage. It shows how he doesn't even care enough to be thoughtful or make her special, even about something as simple as dinner. It's not even about the food, but it's about him not even trying to make her feel seen or heard. Even when she tried talking to him, when she tried engaging him in something that might bring her comfort, what was his response? He shuts it down without even considering her feelings. It's almost like that man doesn't pay attention to her needs at all, which can be so frustrating in a relationship. To think that man begged her to stay back but continued to show this kind of neglect is even worse. His actions reflect a deeper issue of emotional neglect and lack of mutual respect. When someone dismisses their partner's needs or interest without a second thought, it shows they are not really emotionally engaged in that relationship. Like I said, it's not about whether he's doing the dinner or they're eating food or they're watching videos together. It's more about the willingness to share, compromise, and connect in the relationship. By him constantly disregarding her preferences shows that he's essentially saying that her feelings don't matter. I think she needs to reconsider that divorce. She listening to him and accepting him back was a mistake, in my own opinion.
If you're emotionally intelligent, men are so hard to be friends with. I can't tell you the amount of male friendships I've had end when I had to discuss one uncomfortable thing with them that involved tapping into their emotions. And something that I've noticed with men is they will only begin to get emotionally tapped in if they're inebriated in some way. So whether this is drugs or with alcohol, I can't tell you, and I'm queer, I can't tell you the amount of heterosexual male friendships I've had where I only could really begin to understand the person when they were inebriated. And there was a person who I became really cool with off Bumble BFF. We were both Virgos, so immediately just kind of locked in. He was adventurous like I am. We were into a lot of the same activities, and we were just kind of boys from day one. And I only knew him for 9 months, but over the course of the 9 months, he would tell me the most, I don't want to say bone chilling, he would tell me the most shocking things at what I would consider inappropriate times in terms of not the timing was just really strange. It would be we were out the middle of the night, or it would just be at the strangest times. I really can't describe it better than that. And a couple months ago, and he was always interacting with my stories, typical friendship, right? Liking stories and stuff like that. We were really dialed in. And one day I was just I don't know anything about you, and he was oh, what are you talking about? And that was just a very interesting conversation, because after I mentioned that to him, for some reason, when we were talking about that, he was interpreting me by saying I don't know you. I've never met your dogs. I've never been in your house. I don't know what your childhood was like stuff that you would start to learn, I would think, about somebody after a year. And for some reason, he interpreted that to mean oh, you're a bad friend. Let me stop holding this orange. And the reason I brought this up is because of the stuff he would bring up. He would never dive into further detail after he brought him up at the super strange time. Anyway, after I that's not the right word. After I had that conversation with him the following day, I was hey, are we good? What's up? He's yeah, we're good. Have never talked since. And we were hanging out every week for 9 months. Never talked since.
It's really sad. A lot of men are this way, but it's also a sign of how emotional expression is suppressed in men, especially in certain social settings or friendships. The fact that these deep, shocking moments would come out at odd times, like in the middle of the night or unexpectedly, shows how repressed these emotions are until they can't be held in anymore. The person he described comes across as someone that may have been yearning to express himself. From a young age, men are often taught that vulnerability is weakness, that emotional expression is something to be avoided or shared in a certain, often extreme circumstances like being drunk and taking alcohol. This kind of conditioning can make it really hard for men to feel comfortable with their emotions, even in safe spaces of friendship. I'm not in any way making excuses for men. A grown man should be responsible for his actions. A grown man should know what is going on in his environment. A grown man should be aware of what is going on in the universe, in this planet Earth. A grown man should be able to take himself off that program. So if he's still in that program and still being conditioned, that is his decision, and he should take responsibility for his actions. We often hear people say men are not inherently this way, they're not inherently emotional, they're not emotional beings, women are more emotional. That's not true. I disagree. Emotions are human, not gendered. Men are just as capable of being emotionally open as women. It's just the conditioning that's a problem. Societal expectations create barriers that can make them feel like they're not allowed to show emotion. So what he just explained is what a lot of women are passing through. Imagine being in a relationship with a man that cannot open up to you. He has a lot going on with him, but he's not willing to open up. He's living in his head. He's acting out whatever he has decided in his head. All you get to see are his actions. You don't see what's going on. They don't tell you what's going on. You're left in the dark. It's really difficult connecting with someone like that. It's really difficult being in a relationship with someone like that.
Hunting and beating up women as a German tradition, this appears to be part of a local festival on the North Sea island of Borkum, taking place every year on December 5th. A recently published report about the secretive festival called Klasum has caused an outcry across Germany. But what is this all about? The islanders say the tradition goes back 200 years to when the men returned home at the end of the year after months of whale hunting at sea and sought to make clear that they are back in charge. The festival sees young men dress up in sheepskin and feather costumes and walk around the city. Later in the evening, the hunt begins. Together with catchers, the group of young men are looking for women in the streets and beat them up on the buttocks with cow horns. These rituals are usually reserved for the islanders only, but reporters managed to secretly document this. Reacting to the public uproar triggered by the report, festival organizers stressed that violence toward women is no longer part of the festival. They acknowledged that the tradition can be seen as controversial today and said they would rather focus on what the festival is all about: the solidarity of the islanders. A group of nearly 200 women also had a demonstration on the island of Borkum in defense of the tradition. The festival is still taking place this December 5th, but it might look different than previously reported. Local police said there will be zero tolerance for violence and that any reported cases would be prosecuted. Police plan to increase their presence on the island during the festival, so no one has to be afraid of attacks. So might this year be the end of...
That's a deeply troubling tradition to hear about. It's disturbing to hear about a practice like this being carried out under the guise of tradition, especially with its violent history against women. The fact that this festival has been defended by some group of women only makes it worse, as it shows how normalizing violence towards women has been for generations. I understand traditions can be very important to people, but when those traditions involve harm, they need to be questioned and changed. Festival, like so many other traditions, is rooted in control. The idea that those men would return from a long sea journey and assert their dominance over women through violence is a clear reflection of how ingrained this mindset of control is. It's obviously a shocking example of how men have historically justified dominance by using power over women, often in harmful ways. This isn't just a one-off tradition. It reflects a larger, deeply embedded issue where control and power are seen as masculine traits and women are often treated as subordinates. What's even more alarming is how this behavior was normalized for so long. We see this in Africa a lot. This behavior was normalized by men and also women of the community, those who defended the tradition. It's a stark reminder of the toxic nature of the patriarchal system. Men are always about control. They want to control women and they're selfish when they're in relationship with women. When they get married to women, all they think about is themselves and their mind is fixed on what women can do for them. We've spoken about this a lot on this channel. They want to control women and they want to use women to better their life. That is their mode of operation, both in relationship and marriage. So it's important for us women to know how men think and how they perceive us, so we will be able to deal with them better, to be in a relationship with them better, for those of us that want to be in relationship with men, for those of us that want to be married. And for those of us that don't want to, we'll have a better understanding of what men are all about and what the society is all about and what the society thinks of women. If you would love to watch more videos like this, click this video to watch how adult men are acting like children in a relationship, and I'll see you all in the next one.